Welcome, Ultras and Switchy Sisters alike, to episode 23 of the weekly episodic gaming adjacent live stream podcast show. This is Switch to Ultra, back on Mondays until the end of time. And I thought going into it, waking up this morning, starting this day, preemptively throughout the week, that this was going to be a slow one. This was going to be a boring episode because it was a slow news week. Well, it's never boring over here. We always have something to yap about. But as far as information goes, that it could be slow. But it's possible this is because this is the last week without information. The last Monday, if that makes any sense. Because without it, we have about, counting this one, 6 more weeks until Pokemon Legends ZA comes out, which is the next major Nintendo release, or so we think. And I gotta be honest with you guys, I think I'm gonna come clean and apologize formally. I did not play any Daemon X Machina 2. And I can never forgive myself for it. I think I gotta play Daemon X Machina 1 first. You're about to say something about Daemon X Machina? You're about to start a bit?
You didn't play Daemon X Machina 2?
I didn't. Well, then why did I play it? I beat the entire game over the weekend. You promised you were going to play it. Now what are we going to do? But that's the thing, right? Is so much... The show is for fun. It's to look back and be like, oh, man, remember when we thought this, man, so forth. But in this line of work, when you're professional games journalists like Switchy and me are, you tend to hear things. You tend to pick up on some things. So, either this is a week where nothing happens, and we are on the cusp of several weeks where nothing happens, or a little bit after this episode, this live episode of the Switch to Ultra podcast, episode 23, Nintendo will announce a Direct, and then it'll come out on Friday. Or, that's a big or, that's a big if, rowing our way in a big or. It could not happen. It could mean nothing. I don't know if it's worth it to be like, oh, let's do another bingo card. Let's speculate. But there's a possibility, a decent possibility, that a full-on Direct happens between this episode and the next.
I like our odds, to be honest. I mean, I'm not like super convinced, but there's a decent chance we're gonna hear something tomorrow, Wednesday, maybe even tonight, although that's definitely wishful thinking.
Oh man, wouldn't it be great to break news live?
That'd be kind of cool, but let's say, for example, it did happen. I mean, it's not a super high chance, but if it did happen, I'd probably be like, oh, okay, well, it is around that time. It's kind of novel and fun to do it while the show's happening, but...
Oh, we're spinning. Hello? Oh, wait, what the hell?
We're spinning?
What the fuck just happened? We just defaulted back to our profile pictures. Hold on. I think the show's being invaded. Hold on a second.
Did you just hack into my video?
Oh, I do have additional news as well. I guess we can get into... Well, actually, no, none of this is canon. Hold on, we gotta wait for the... Wait? Okay, now we're... Wait. Well, I'm back. You are still a square.
I'm not back?
You are a square right now. Oh, it's set active? Did they, update the website? Hold on. Set active. Oh, wait, now, but I'm not moving. Wait, set active. Man, what changed? Did the website update while we were recording? Set active. Well, it's trying for sure. Is this canon? And nothing that happens right now is canon. This isn't happening in the... I'll tell you this. Oh, internal server error. I'll tell you this. There's no... In the Switch to Ultra video, this will not be there, probably.
Unless I say something really funny.
Okay. Well, okay, so I'm back, but you are just your profile picture. Do you have to make a thing on this website? I mean, you did, right? I think?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I guess I'll give that a shot.
Set active. Oh, okay. Well, now I'm you. Okay. So I think I'm only doing me right now. But that doesn't make sense. Wait,
I'm logging into Fuji Tech right now.
Right, of course.
That's not how you spell Fuji, by the way.
They got it wrong.
No, Well, I mean, it's probably intentional, but
I would say
Mount
Fuji.
Fuji is Fuji,
Twitch chat just fuck ass mac and cheese ad. Dude, if I was, I feel like that's the one thing I would accept. If I was watching a stream and then an ad started playing, I think I would welcome mac and cheese, because all the other ads I ever get, I've been watching Peacock as of late, and I don't know if it's just like a streaming, like a Roku thing, but every single ad is about some kind of medication that I don't need to take, or some kind of illness that I don't have.
Okay, for some reason I don't have
It's me, Breno Floss. Hello, I've returned to the Switch to Ultra podcast.
I can add a model, but
yeah, do you have the art, the little? I can send them to you.
Yeah, you might have to, because admittedly, I haven't had to use this in a while.
It's weird that this happened right now. Okay, let's send these. Talking, not talking, muted. Alright, those are the ones that you need for that. Can you become Mr. Clean again? Yeah, sorry, I don't do that anymore. Cardi B Velveeta ad? Oh, is that what you're talking about? Well, you don't fuck with Cardi B? I don't know if I do either. I don't have any strong opinions either way. So I have my active model. So that, it works for me. I guess worst comes to worst, you could just be your profile. I mean, now you kind of fill the frame a little bit of the monitor.
Not really.
Sort of. I mean, I can see a little bits peeking through, but yeah. Just see what you could do, and if it doesn't work, then we will. We'll just continue the episode with Switchy's new redesign. I suppose I'll use this as an opportunity. I'll move both of these. To say that I have since started, because I updated this last week and I was really excited about Caught Stealing. I think I'm a little biased when it comes to Caught Stealing, just because I'm a big Aronofsky head. I think Aronofsky is probably my favorite filmmaker. Granted, I haven't seen The Whale, and I kind of don't want to see The Whale, so that my opinion may not be skewed. I'll get there at some point. But there are shows that have come out since, again, we're making our way through South Park as they release every other week. Wild Pack isn't even on streaming yet. I'm not caught up on Goosebumps. I kind of dropped Abbott and didn't finish Ironheart. We're working our way through Gumball and Bonanza and King of the Hill. And Women Wearing Shoulder Pads has been premiering on Sunday every week on Adult Swim. I'm a little bit behind, so I got to get re-caught up. Same goes with Peacemaker. And we only recently started Long Story Short. Now, I know Long Story Short, King of the Hill, and Gumball dropped the entire season at once. But I like to watch them weekly, so I'm slow. I think maybe in like 4 or 5 weeks we'll be done with those. But The Roses, which is a romantic comedy, I saw that over the weekend between episodes. And normally I hear that. I thought I disliked romantic comedies. I think what I actually disliked are movies that call themselves romantic comedies, but they aren't funny. Like, rom-com has sort of become its own thing, where you hear rom-com, even though the com part is the comedy, and there's no banter, there's no chemistry. But I really did love The Roses, so much so that I think it's going to be like, I think I'll put it in second place in A tier. I genuinely did like it. How do you pick things for the Sunday night showings? Good question, Twitch chat. Whenever a new thing comes out and I've heard about it, I add it to the list, but also we did it democratically in the BH Ultra Patreon Discord server, where I left it up to a poll, and there were some shows like Ironheart and Abbott that people did not want to continue, and instead, because we only have from like 8 to 12, we only have like a 4-hour block, so we want to make sure we're prioritizing the shows people want to watch.
Your fans don't want to watch Ironheart?
I know, it's crazy. Like, it's bigoted, it's biased is what it is, because we're totally fine with watching Peacemaker, but all of a sudden gotta draw the line at Ironheart. I've also been making them watch Succession, since it's slowly becoming one of my favorite shows, and I'm on like my 4th rewatch. And also, we've been working our way through Craig of the Creek and Infinity Train, because those are just cartoons I like. But everything else is new. I like to be caught up on stuff for the most part. Because if you only watch the YouTube videos, you're going to think I'm some kind of nostalgia warrior who only talks about shit from like when I was a kid. But I want to... I think I do need an opportunity in videos to like talk about modern stuff. I used to do that with the musical video, but I don't really have one planned for December. I have something else planned. Anyway, do you think your Fuji reactive is all set?
It keeps having like, what's it called? It keeps saying there's an internal server
Oh wait, hold
error.
on. I mean, you're here. I see you. You're back.
Okay, save.
All right, we are so back. All right, well, I just got my little ranking in there. But as far as, I mean, I was just mentioning the Patreon. I like to think that every year on YouTube, as a YouTuber that people watch, I have like a different arc. Whether that be like growing in 2022 or becoming a part of the community in 23 and then going to more events in 24. That for 2025, I think through the multiple years of me doing this, like 23 onward, I've kind of had like Patreon in the back, and I'm like, you know what, they should only really do this if they want to give me money directly. It's not really that big of a deal. But more and more this year, it's been the case of me having uncensored, unclaimed videos on Patreon. And then also making original content for it now that people wanted to see, that maybe it will be on YouTube at some point. And that's why I was editing earlier. And now what some of the Twitch chat is referring to right now is a poll I started doing. I'm putting together a bracket and allowing people in the Patreon to pick a video topic that I work on, and we're all going to do like weekly votes in that Patreon. Anyway, all that to say, you know, if you guys want to watch stuff on Sundays, and if you're interested in any of these shows, consider joining the top tier of the BH Ultra Patreon if you are a legal adult. I cannot stress that enough. But you can vote. You don't need to pay to the top tier Patreon if you want to just be in the Patreon to see the uncensored versions and do the votes. All of that to say, there have been a number of videos that you can only watch in Patreon for right now, but obviously, that was a stopgap. I wanted them to be there until they could be on YouTube. And I got a notification like right before we went live today as a part of the Switch to Ultra podcast that the Mako Mermaids video, that for the first 8 days, or I guess 9 days of it not being on YouTube and is still a Patreon exclusive, all of the appeals have gone through. All the claims have been dropped. It is now fully ready to just go up on YouTube. I said worst comes to worst, it'll take like 30 days for them to respond and then I'll have to appeal. But no, all I did was dispute and they dropped all of it. So that video is fully ready to go up on YouTube. And I just learned that recently. And I don't want to say going crazy with appeals because I'm in my legal right to be doing so. But I think also between episodes is when the Izzy Isn't Crazy video for the first time is finally monetized. I finally got to appeal that. So I feel kind of bad that in my Twitter post about it, I was like, oh, so I could pay my rent. That was mostly a bit. Like, I'm fine. I'm not concerned about that. I don't think anyone should watch videos because they're like, oh, this guy's going to die if I don't do this. But I'd rather than comfortable doing something I don't love doing, if that makes sense. But yeah, it only took 3 years. So normally I wouldn't be like, hey, this video makes me money. You guys should go see it. It's more so that the first 6 million views did not make me anything. So I'm kind of incentivizing like, hey, you guys should check this video out again another 6 million times just to recoup my benefits a little bit. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the future. Now that I learned I can appeal videos, I think the world is my oyster. What about you, SwitchyYouTube.com?
Well, you know, it's just Pocketeo for me, but I definitely get your mindset where, I mean, you're fine, but I remember someone did kind of try and be snarky with you, like, oh, then why don't you, do something else?
Why don't you get a job?
It's like, fine. I'd rather be broke doing this than, well off, but doing something I hate.
Which is true.
Yeah.
I think it's like I don't think I'm gonna be one of the, and not that like, oh man, my dream is broken, because I never thought I was gonna do this. I'm not gonna be one of those YouTubers that lives in like the YouTuber house or has like my streamer mansion, and I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm like famous. I think I'm fine. I think we kind of have ideas.
FaZe Clan BH Ultra.
Yeah, we have like ideas of being like, oh, I'm gonna live this lavish lifestyle, and the most important thing in life is like accruing the most profit. So that way I can buy or do whatever I want. But I'm kind of okay just like, I keep, the literal term is living paycheck to paycheck. And whenever I say that, some people are like, oh my God, that's awful. But to me, it really isn't. Like, I mean, up until I have some kind of like medical emergency, but I can handle that. Like, I don't mind making the amount I pay in rent and food every month. Like, that doesn't really bother me. I don't really feel the need to have a ton of funds. Maybe that's like a privileged mindset, but I think I could take it no matter what. But those were just from the personal side of things, and that's why I went over the ranking. As far as information goes, sorry, that's what I wanted to put together as a part at the top of this podcast is anything we're about to say or do or discuss. It could just amount to nothing. Technically, we are 5 days away from Mario's actual birthday, where he turns the big 4-0. And 5 years ago in 2020, even though there was a pandemic going on and basically no directs, they still managed to squeeze in a Mario 35th anniversary direct for September, and they announced a bunch of stuff. But I've been hearing... I don't want to base the podcast off of the idea that there might be something, because, there very well might not be anything. So it's either... that we are in a lull period and nothing's going to happen until Legends ZA comes out, which is totally fine, I suppose. We'll always find something to talk about. Or we are about to be rushed with information, because the last 2 weeks have been discussing the Kirby Air Riders Direct, which technically is a Direct, but not like a full Nintendo Direct, and then going over Kirby lore. So as far as, if you're a Kirby fan, it hasn't been a dry spell, but... I think the way I play Donkey Kong Bonanza, I should fully complete it before ZA comes out. I made a personal rule on stream now that I'm not allowed to buy a new game until I finish one I already started on stream. So I also didn't play Silksong. Did you play any of that? I heard a lot about it. I
have to play the first Hollow Knight first, or I probably don't actually.
Do you have to?
That much, but I don't know. It just feels like the way of going about it.
Mm-hmm.
But honestly, that mindset probably has kept me from playing a lot of popular games where I'm like, well, I have to play everything.
Yeah. I think there's very few games where you actually do need to do that, but I like doing that. And streaming facilitates it. Like, I played Pikmin 1, 2, and 3 leading up to 4, and then I played Super Metroid and Metroid Fusion leading up to Dread. I like doing that with series I haven't really played. So I would like to... at some point play Silksong, but I don't think... And I would also like to play Hollow Knight, because, it's a game that's almost a decade old, and it's been out for a while, and it's popular, but not as like, oh, I need to play this before I play Silksong. But as far as information goes, that's, like, everything I've heard, like, oh, supposed trusted insiders. What have you heard? What are we hearing? Again, there's a possibility that nothing happens. The only thing that we have been having these last couple weeks is, I don't remember how many weeks ago it was, but last time after that last time. Oh, it's happening again. Alright, Fugi fucking defaulted our characters back. Switchy? Uh-oh. There's an internal server error. Or do I just not have connection? I'm still live. Okay, wait, no. So this should still work. This is the most technical difficulties I've ever seen on anything. Maybe it's just... Oh, wait, is it just Discord that's down? Oh. That would explain why Fugi doesn't work. Well, no, I still have internet, right? Well, let's see. Can I play a video? Video's working. I think this is a terrible time for Discord to be down. Are unavailable to some members. Hold on. Time to check the news live. Wait, I just gotta... Oh, wait, Switchy's saying his Wi-Fi went out, but, hello? Oh, I know, it's frozen. I think it might be Discord as well. Because that would explain. What's the next gambling stream? I guess next one. A lot of servers are down right now. What's happening? Hold on. Well, time to do some investigative journalism. We haven't been able to do this live before. Let's search. Well, I never want to search on Twitter because you never know what you're going to find live. Okay. Hold on. Discord is down. Okay, well, this isn't helpful. That's from September 5th, which isn't today. This was 8 minutes ago. Okay, so no... Yeah, Discord is down. There is no Discord anymore. Well, That's okay, because I had everything planned out. Listen, I have got a lot to say. I might as well explain. Dude, this is going to be less of a... Because normally I host the show, and I'm explaining all the things throughout the week to Switchy, and then thus through the audience, they're understanding it, because they're, like, hearing what I'm saying. Anyway, okay, let me explain the little preamble then, or what I was saying, is that on a previous episode of Switch to Ultra... Switchy brought to my attention. Also, my mouth isn't going to move up or down, so you're just going to have to imagine me moving up and down. Switchy brought to my attention a Central Leaks post that is... I think the Twitch chat in a previous episode told us that list of leaked megas actually comes from a demo build of Legend ZA that was a part of that Game Freak leak that happened at the beginning of last year. Mouth agape like a soy jack. It's because all this information is so interesting and shocking. So we've had that list of megas for a while. And when I first saw it, I was like, you know, we could just list off these megas. It doesn't matter. I don't believe any of this. I don't think it's true. But then we got that reveal trailer with Mega Dragonite. And the image leak I saw was Mega Dragalge, I believe. So then I thought, as a bit, like, okay, maybe they got a really lucky guess. Maybe we'll do our own list of megas. So we had a special lost episode of Switch to Ultra, where we each created mock-ups for 5 megas of the list, which is, I believe, half of it. I think it was a list of 24 megas. It was 25, but Dragonite knocked it down to 24. They're going to add 24 new ones, or as far as we know. And the megas they've been showing off every week thus far weren't really anything that we had covered yet. The Dragonite, and then the Mega Victreebel, and then the Mega Hawlucha. And we were under the impression that every week, every Thursday, moving forward, leading up to Legend ZA, that they would reveal a new Mega. And this Thursday, they didn't reveal a new Mega, but what they did do is that it seems Malamar has fully taken over all of Pokemon social media. And I'm just going to show these to you like it's... like, this is real news footage. Have you guys seen this? It's all over the news. That this video titled Malamar MP4. And if you haven't seen it, it's just several examples of, supposedly, I have to assume these are denizens of Kalos and Lumio City that have been brainwashed into loving Malamar, a Pokemon that nobody loves. And Malamar, if you remember correctly, of the 5 mock-ups we each made... Oh, there was also a Starmie leak. So far, I'm pretty accurate, right? My Starmie mock-up, all I did was draw him with long legs. And that Starmie leak, editor, every time I'm talking about a previous Mega, if you could show them on screen from the previous episodes, thank you. That Starmie leak we covered last week was mighty similar to my mock-up of Malamar. Now, we've seen all these posts about Starmie. I'm going to take that again. That leak we saw was mighty close to my mock-up of Mega Starmie. And now, they're seemingly hinting at a Mega Malamar. However, this Thursday, we saw all these videos, but we haven't seen the actual design of Mega Malamar. This is all the stuff that dropped on Thursday. Malamar was also one of my designs, and it was just an amalgamation of different Malamars, some sort of amorphous tentacle being. So it's possible that I could be correct again. Apparently there were descriptions of all the designs, but neither of us read them because I didn't know they existed, and Switchy just chose not to read them to be a good sport about the competition. Now that I'm winning, now it is a competition. I could be 2 for 2 here. But the Starmie one isn't confirmed yet, so I suppose we'll have to see and wait until the game comes out. I don't know when or if we'll actually see Mega Malamar, or if this is just a teaser and we won't see Mega Malamar until the game is released. I suppose all we could do is wait until the upcoming Thursday and see if they reveal another Mega. Because if they don't, then maybe the streak has ended. Maybe it's just going to show us Mega Hawlucha, Mega Victreebel, Mega Dragonite, and then tease all the other ones. I believe the other mock-ups I had were Pyroar, Feraligatr, and Excadrill. So if any of those 3 show up, just know that I have insider information that you do not. Speaking of insider information, we're going to save this for last, but I don't know how much we can trust Twitter denizen Switchforce. But he has gotten the rub from Nate the Hate, who is a leaker we can trust, supposedly because they leaked information late last year about the release of the Switch 2, and I've been mostly correct about everything. So much so that when they said there's a Direct coming up, everyone was like, oh shit, big Direct, and then it was a partner Direct, and then everyone got mad at him, even though that's technically correct. Twitch chat saying, Probs no reveal Thursday, that's usually a no-go date. I don't know what you're... Okay, you're saying that they wouldn't reveal something Thursday. you are aware that they revealed Mega Hawlucha and Mega Victory Bell on Thursdays, right? Like, and then that Malamar post went up on Thursday. It's been every Thursday so far. 9/11. Pokemon doesn't care about that. Or maybe they'll lean into it. Maybe they'll show a giant Excadrill attacking the city. They're revealing something Wednesday. Okay, so this is what I've heard, right? Or seen at least from this Switch Force post, which has gone over in this Switch Force video. This is the Switch Force video.
Okay, so the Nintendo Direct...
Nope, muting that. Where he said that they're going to announce a Direct on Wednesday, and the Direct will be Friday. This is not the first time we have heard about a Direct on Friday, right? And maybe we heard it multiple times from him. I don't know if this is a person worth believing. All I know is that I do love puzzles and I do love riddles. And something he goes over in this video is 3 mysterious 7s. I don't know if he's doing the riddle or this is a riddle he heard, but he keeps repeating that. 3 7s. And I wanted to, with Switchy, get to the bottom of what these 3 7s could mean. Maybe 3 7s means something gambling. Maybe we're going to get a new Nintendo gacha game. Oh, boy. But I guess... Oh. That's scary. He just went away. Editor, put a sound effect when he does. Well, put a little explosion. Thank you. Well, I guess I could talk directly to the chat then. You guys will be my co-host today. What do you think 3 7s could mean if there is, in fact, this elusive Direct on Friday? I mean, you were just doing a 9/11 bit, but honestly, I don't think there ever had... I don't want to say ever, but there historically don't often have Directs on Friday. I think more often than not, Directs are on Tuesday. So if there was to be one on Tuesday, then it would need to be announced today or tonight. Especially if it's Tuesday morning. I mean, I got stuff going on Tuesday morning. I guess I should keep refreshing my Twitter feed to see if they do announce something. Just in case, you never know. 3 7s like Halo? Is that a Halo reference? I saw other people saying... I know this isn't investigative journalism for me to just go through quote retweets. But if we're counting, what was it? Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, Mario Galaxy 1... Mario Galaxy 2, 3D World, and Odyssey, then the next 3D Mario game is the 7th 3D Mario game. Now, I feel like counting 3D World in that is a little dishonest if we're talking about the next big EPD 3D Mario game. And I'll be honest, throughout this year when I've heard about the prospect of the next big 3D Mario game, made by a different team than the Donkey Kong Bonanza team. We know that Donkey Kong Bonanza was developed by the traditional 3D Mario team. We also know that the voice actors for multiple characters in Donkey Kong Bonanza are credited in the credits of Mario Kart World, but don't voice any characters that we know of. And that Pauline and Donkey Kong only have one alternate skin individually, which is not a lot. So it's possible that we could get, at the very least, a Mario Kart World update. I hope it's an update, not just DLC. To bring in characters from Donkey Kong Bonanza. Hopefully they're giving people enough time to beat the game. Should I beat Bonanza before the Direct? Because what if they spoil it? They might just spoil it outright. Who knows? However, I, throughout this show, have been pushing back on the idea of a new 3D Mario. Not because I dislike the idea, or I think it's wrong. Well, I sort of do. I didn't think it was likely. I thought that people were getting their hopes up and setting themselves up for disappointment. The prospect of a new 3D Mario coming out, because I view, and I think Nintendo also internally views Donkey Kong Bonanza as the new 3D Mario. However, I don't think it's impossible that the Mario's 40th anniversary game, the big Mario 40th anniversary game, could be a new 3D Mario. Because if we're going over Mario games that haven't had an installment in a series in a long time, technically 3D Mario and Mario Odyssey in general, 3D Mario, has been the one without a new game. I don't know what else the 7s could mean. It could be something as innocuous as Final Fantasy 7 coming to Switch. What about Smash Bros. 7? Because everyone always says, oh, what's going to be the new thing in Smash Bros. 6? But Smash 64 is the first one, Melee is the second one, and Brawl is the third one. And everyone says Smash 4 is Wii U and 3DS, but Wii U and 3DS internally are viewed as Smash 4 and Smash 5, making Smash Ultimate Smash 6, Smash Bros. 6, 7. Wouldn't be surprised if they spoiled it. Let's see what Twitch chat is saying about this. I don't think DK has any real bearing on a 3D Mario being delayed. Nintendo has multiple teams working on Mario, and DK was likely a spin-off from the Odyssey team. Well, no. Maybe, okay. I don't think it's impossible that 3D Mario could be developed by a different team, right? The team that didn't develop Mario Odyssey or Mario Galaxy or Donkey Kong Bonanza, because those are all the same people. Again, I'm not saying that it's impossible. Ooh, Banana is right. I'm just saying I think I'm pessimistic when it comes to announcements, just so I don't set myself up for disappointment. Like, what I'm saying about Smash Bros. Now is a bit. I don't think we're going to get a new Smash Bros. For a little bit. It definitely not announced this year. At the earliest, announced next year. Maybe March next year. That's when we can finish the Smash saga. I'm working on a lot of videos. But if we're going over Mario series that have been dormant for a while, and the Switch 2, the more and more we know about it, it doesn't really feel like its own console as much as it is part of the Switch family of systems, building on top of it, just a continuation of the Switch. And that's all well and good as they add new games to Nintendo Switch Online. I would rather them do that than start from scratch. Speaking of Nintendo Switch Online, they showed off in a trailer recently a new game coming to Nintendo Switch Online, which is Forsaken 64. Now, as you guys know, I have a sizable N64 collection, and I'd say the N64 is one of my favorite retro consoles. I have not played this game. The extent of my information... Sorry, Switchy appeared in front of me and it spooked me. I don't know if he's here or not. The extent of my knowledge on Forsaken 64 is that the N64 carts don't have end labels, and before I bought up all those cool end labels from Etsy, I made my own as a kid. I got, like, sticker tabs and would write in marker the names of the games so that I can make custom end labels for my N64 games. But the marker was thick and the piece of sticker was slim. So every time I passed by my copy of Forsaken 64 or skimmed my collection or read it really fast, because the letters kind of blend together, it looked like it said Foreskin 64 every time. So this game is Foreskin 64 to me. Now this game, I don't actually know anything about other than it being Foreskin 64. So maybe it means nothing. But also, if we'll circle back to this little... Let's open this image in a new tab. Something we speculated over in a previous episode of Switch 2 Ultra, that some people were saying that they could see outlines of N64 games that were in the blurred background of the tutorial video showing off the new updates and the exclusive features for the N64 emulator on Nintendo Switch 2. The main stories, the main headlines of that speculation was Donkey Kong 64, was Smash Bros 64, and people were using Glover because it has a very easy to spot box art, I suppose we'll say, but some have seemingly... are we back? No, we're just, okay, I'm removing these. Taking myself out of the narrative. Why is this happening? Well, thank you, Discord.com. Anyway, one of these box arts, many are saying this, that Foreskin 64 could bridge the gap between Donkey Kong 64 and Glover. But I feel like we're getting an N64 game a month, and we have been since they announced it in like 2023. I don't think it's impossible that these games could eventually come to NSO, but I think this is exciting because speculation is exciting and it's fun, but I don't think this means anything. Like, in the sense that, oh, Donkey Kong 64 and Smash Bros. 64 and Glover are coming soon. I don't know if they are coming soon. I think they might show up in like 3 years' time. I suppose we'll see. But I don't think it's an unsafe bet to say that these games are coming to N64 Online. I think they're honestly a pretty safe bet. I don't know what the fuck is going on over here. All right, just ignore everything, I guess. Hold on. Surely I have a crack somewhere. Let me grab my backup crack. You guys mind if I get my backup crack? Ignore this. Sorry. Forgot you guys could see that. That's embarrassing. Okay. Screen capture. Editor, don't put any of this in. This ain't real. Always gotta have a backup crack for moments like this. Okay, so I gotta get rid of the green screen. Filter, chroma key. We got chroma key. Do we have chroma key? Okay, chroma key. All right, but we still got lines at the... I'm like, oh, I'm Mario. You get to stretch my head. All right, I'll be right down here. Don't mind me. I'm just cracking in the corner down here. I'm cracking wise. Okay, Now we're back on course a little bit. Now, earlier, why are you agreeing? Just for medical reasons. Earlier, I said, or I was talking about the lineage of the Nintendo Switch and how the Nintendo Switch 2 is more continuing it on than it is being its own thing. And that has upsides and downsides. Of course, the upsides are not getting drip-fed NSO ROMs from scratch again. We actually get to build off of what we had. Now we have GameCube ones as well that are also going to be released slowly over time. I mean, the big reveal of last month was Chibi Robo, right? Which really lit a fire under my ass for all the stream watchers that I had to go back and play Chibi Robo. I'm going to beat it, I promise. But that's not a podcast story. That's a stream story. That's a game theory. I have always been interested in the prospect of every Nintendo series, big or small, being represented on the Nintendo Switch. And I thought Nintendo Switch 2, we were going to start from scratch. But it seems like a big part of the lineup of the Switch 2 are upgraded versions of Breath of the Wild, upgraded versions of Metroid Prime, upgraded versions of Pokemon Legends ZA. And there's even Nintendo Switch 1 games that are still going to continue coming out through next year, or at least at the beginning of next year. And I'm excited to play those. So, I think it's safe to say that it's all one lineage. It's possible that a different console means a different game, with big games that they haven't had for a while, like Mario Kart. Granted, the Mario Kart we had on Switch was a port of the Wii U version, so maybe there won't be a new Smash Bros. At all. Because the Smash Bros. You could play on the Switch 2 is Smash Ultimate. I hope that isn't the case, but it's entirely possible. I know I sound like that other podcaster, but I like the idea of like, oh, there being a 2D Mario on the Switch, which there is in Mario Wonder, a 2D Zelda, which there is in both Link's Awakening and Echoes of Wisdom. And I count remakes, so we have a Paper Mario, we have a Mario and Luigi. I mean, we have original Paper Mario and Luigi, and we have a Super Mario RPG remake. I don't think we're going to get Super Mario RPG 2. It's kind of what Paper Mario is. I'm covering Mario a lot, but we have 3D Zelda, we have 3D Metroid, whether it be a remake or the upcoming one. We have Pokemon remakes, we have new Pokemon games, we have 2D Kirby games, 3D Kirby games. We don't have a pinball game. And this is a lineage that's sort of lost. I think there is a Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games game on the Switch. It's like the 2021, right? Something like that. But there used to be, every Nintendo series had a tie-in pinball game. Metroid Pinball, Kirby Pinball, Mario Pinball, Pokemon Pinball. And we haven't gotten a new incarnation in the prestigious Nintendo Pinball series in a while. That's on my bingo card for the next Nintendo Direct. I'm locking it in right now, new pinball game. However, again, like Mario spin-offs, we've had a Mario Party on Switch, we've had a Mario Kart on Switch, and Switch 2. There are other Mario spin-offs that tend to get lost in the shuffle. On the Switch, I believe we've had an Olympics game, we had a Mario Strikers game, which is football, and Mario Golf and Mario Tennis. Everyone always hypes up Mario Golf and Mario Tennis. Recently, this image has been hitting the rounds. Not because it's a leak, this is a toy that you can look at with your own eyes. Again, this is Mario's 40th anniversary. It seems like most of the Mario shit we're getting is plastic crap made for children. And Mario is sort of made for children. What most people have been focusing on is how deeper can I get into this image? Is this DK right here. A lot of these renders are all over the place. They still have that arms cross Bowser from like Mario Party 8. This Rosalina is from the Olympic Games. But this Donkey Kong render, it uses the new Donkey Kong design, but this is a new render we have not seen yet. A new pose we have not seen yet. It's not really that interesting. I wouldn't say it's not interesting, but as far as the new Donkey Kong goes, I'm glad. I really do like the new Donkey Kong, and I'm glad they're slowly phasing out the old one. Not because I dislike the design of the old one, but whenever you get something like this, I mean, a lot of these designs are outdated, but if you see the old Donkey Kong, that's how you know it's outdated. That's why I don't want to keep just doing Ultimate, I want something new. But you'll notice here, if you take a good look, if you look really close into this image, this is a baseball diamond. When the hell has Mario played baseball? That's a good question, viewer of the Switch 2 Ultra podcast, and by that I mean the Switch 2 Ultra one-man live show. We have had a Mario Strikers on the Switch. We have had a Mario Golf. And we have had a Mario Tennis, a Mario Party, a Mario Olympics, a Mario Kart. What's next? Mario Hoops 3-on-3, Mario Equestria Training, or could we complete the trifecta, the quadfecta, the square, the cube, by having a new Super Mario Sluggers game? Super Mario Sluggers is another series that people really hype up, and I know people were disappointed by Mario Strikers because it didn't have all the tertiary Mario enemies that something like Mario Kart World or the older Strikers games had. Now, I never grew up with those games. I never played a Strikers game. I never even really played a Mario Golf or a Mario Tennis when I was a kid. So playing the new ones on the Switch in the Switch family of systems, it was all new to me. However, I didn't have Mario Sluggers as a kid. I did play it at my Gummy Bear Brothers household, my brother Caden. And I played it one time, never played it again, and then got obsessed with the concept of Mario characters playing baseball. And then in my little notebook in my mom's basement, I would write as many Mario characters as I could remember and put them all on different teams and had like a storyline. This is between, of course, watching Super Mario Bros. Z. So I thought these characters had stronger characterization than they actually did. I was excited about the prospect. And I think my fondest memories of my reverence for Mario Baseball is all in my head. If I went back to play those games by myself, they wouldn't be nearly as fun. However, again, I keep saying however. Well, I've got a lot of points to make. Everyone's getting their panties in a knot and excited and creaming their jeans about a new 3D Mario. The 7th 3D Mario, if you believe some. But what if 7 is for the 7 innings? There's 9 innings. What if the 7 is for... Okay, what if it's Mario Baseball? What if the new big 40th anniversary Mario game is just Mario Baseball? Because if we're going to say that there needs to be a big Mario game released on the 40th anniversary of Mario, I mean, Mario Kart World came out this year. Regardless of how you feel about it, you know what? Nah, I like it more than Thunderbolts. Do I? Yeah, I do. I do. So, thoughts. You know, just something to percolate on. Little glimpses of Mario Baseball. Or this is just a generic plastic toy and it could mean nothing. But if it showed off a new Donkey Kong render, who knows what this could be hinting at. It could be hinting at Luigi Ball. I'm still thinking, marinating over what the 7 could mean. If it does mean anything. Well, the 7 doesn't have to relate to Mario. It just has to be something in the direct, potential direct. I'm honestly, at this point, I'm staying live as long as I can. We got to get that breaking news story. The breaking news right now is that Discord is down. What else did I want? Was that everything I wanted to cover? Oh, Riptide happened, and the last major Smash Bros. Event, the super major, some would say, I actually covered, or we talked about on stream, because it was Supernova, because it was the largest turnout for a Super Smash Bros. Tournament, an event. And I was still, it was right the weekend after EVO, so I was still riding high from EVO. Actually, speaking of EVO, before we get into it, the cast of the live-action Street Fighter movie was now fully revealed, and I was already dreading the Street Fighter movie. I really like the Raka Raka directors, these brothers, as you can tell by how high up Bring Her Back is. Granted, I liked other movies, but this is really high praise. I liked Bring Her Back, and I really like Talk to Me. These are the most promising young directors. And it's also cool that they started as YouTubers. I think that's really fun. The original version of this movie, when it was in development, right? Because for whatever reason, we're still making movies like this. The live-action Mortal Kombat movie, starring Karl Urban as Johnny Cage. Oh, it's me, Johnny Cage. Came out in 2021. And the sequel's coming out next year. Not this year. There's going to be 5 years between Mortal Kombat 1 and 2 in the movies. And I guess Street Fighter is trying to ride that current wave of the popularity of video game movies, of the Mario movie, of the Sonic movie, of the Minecraft movie. I've been watching the Twisted Metal show with my roommate after I see movies, and it is silly. I only recently really got into Street Fighter. And I don't think there could ever be a video game movie that could, anger me. Oh, they're not showing proper reverence to the video game. Because I know that all video game movies are bad. I think it could have been good. That's, I think, where my disappointment comes from. If these directors were still tied to it, I know the classic story that there's young directors that show a lot of promise and then they're stuck in IP jail forever and have to make, like, I don't know, Ant-Man 3, something like that. I'm glad they're going to keep making movies they want to make. However, I think the movie would have been good if they directed it, or maybe at least better. This cast is strange to me. As soon as I heard Noah Centineo, I was like, I'm out. I was already out. Now they got Andrew Schulz, fucking right-wing podcaster. Not like us. We're Chinese podcasters. Not that we are Chinese, but, you know, this is the only podcast paid 100% by China. They got 3 professional wrestlers in this. 1, 2, 3. Cody's fine in the Naked Gun, right, as like a throwaway bit, but Akuma's like the main villain of the movie, right? Because there's no M. Bison. Is Roman Reigns seriously going to... I don't know. I think this is going to be a dumpster fire, and I know I shouldn't care about it, but I think I'm disappointed. Anyway, what I was getting at with Riptide is that we had a discussion as people who do not play Smash Bros. Competitively about the argument of whether or not Steve should be banned. And I think the attention for it has died down a little bit, but these are the top 8. And 1, 2, 3 of the top 8 all played a variation of Steve in the top 8. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. You know, most fighting games have a character that people use a lot. Again, I don't play competitively, so I have no dog in the fight of whether or not banning Steve. Obviously, I would ideally not like to ban any character from a game I like playing. But I think, for lack of a better term, ultimately, and I say this a lot, this is sort of the last gasp of this game. Meanwhile, Melee is kind of having a resurgence. I know there are always bits about Smash fans being creepy or not showering or whatever, but I genuinely do love this game. And I'm not going to tell people to stop saying that, because I think they're valid criticisms. And if saying that stuff gets people to stop being weird or to start wearing deodorant, then it's all for the sake of good. But for me, I love Smash Ultimate, and I'm right on the edge of like, man, we really need a new one. Again, because I don't want to get my hopes up. I'm just holding out that little bit like, I can wait a couple with 3 more years. But can I? That's the whole reason we started this show. I'm pulling back the curtain. I wanted to speculate Smash Bros. I wanted to talk about some bogus bullshit leaks. We added Bandana Waddle Dee to the render last time. But I'm in the background of this. Actually, today I was working on the September video, the October video, the Fall Guys compilation, and edits for Patreon exclusive videos. So I was editing a lot today. I'm not even done. So after this pod, I'll just go and start editing again. This one's going to be on the shorter side because Discord really shat the bed on us. But what can you do? Look how fast I go over information when it isn't in a podcast format. Maybe the podcast was a bad idea. Maybe I'm second guessing myself. Nah, this is all meta stuff. What I'm getting into is in the background of all this, because I don't really have anything planned for November, and I know what video I'm making December, January, and I want to work on them at the same time, that I've been writing the 3rd and final Smash Ultimate speculation cycle in the trilogy, in the saga. And, you know, get this camera in on my face. Let's zoom in. I want to talk directly to this camera for a second. I think once that video comes out, I think once that video comes out and I'm done with it, I'm finished editing, I'm finished writing, I've wiped my hands of it, Smash Ultimate, the story of Smash Ultimate has now been told. At that point, I'll kind of be clamoring for a new one. I think I'll be ready to start being annoying about it. Because you never want to be too soon with this stuff. 2024, 2023, even 2022. Only a couple years after Sora released, you don't want to be like, oh, when's the next one? But now we have a new Nintendo console. We know what Sakurai's, the game he's been working on is the game he's been working on since 2022. It's going to come out this year. I don't know how fast the turnaround on these games are. I guess you could direct multiple games at once. I think that's where the argument comes in when it comes to either a 3D Mario or a Smash Bros. Is I'm sort of working off the opinion that you can only work on one game at a time, but that's not necessarily true. I guess Sakurai could have been working on Smash Bros. Or anyone on Bandai Namco. S2, wait, what's it called? Studio S, Studio 2, put the logo on screen. Could have been working on it concurrently. Similarly, maybe people who worked on Bonanza could also be working on 3D Mario. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm just saying we don't necessarily need a 3D Mario. But come 2026, just going off of math and statistics, you know me, I love schedules. I'm the schedule guy. Not only has it been the longest amount of time between Smash games, the gap we have now, the dry spell, from 2018, December 2018, is longer than the gap between Smash for Wii U, Smash for 3DS, and Ultimate. And Brawl to those games. And Melee to Brawl. And Smash 64 to Melee. It's been the longest amount of time. And you could argue that it's only been 4 years, or come October, it will have been 4 years since Sora was announced and released. But the final DLC character for Smash for Wii U was, I believe, released in 2015, and then Ultimate was 3 years later. So even then, even if that's 2016, it still would all boil over to be 2015. But if we are going over numbers and schedule and tradition, more often than not, a Smash game will be at the very least announced by the second year of a new Nintendo console. Twitch chat says, to be fair, most Smash games were heavily rushed. Well, no. I mean, Melee was. Brawl was delayed twice. I don't know if I'd refer to any of them as heavily rushed. I would say Melee is the only one that was, like, rushed. Like, Ultimate reused assets, but I don't think it was rushed. Well, I guess there are some things, like, clearly Piranha Plant and Home Run Contest and Stage Builder were meant to be in the game at base launch. So that was rushed out a little bit. Just because we needed... I think they were more desperate when it came to the Switch one, that we really, really needed heavy hitters. And I think they can casually rack in bucks for better or for worse with the Switch 2. However, as primarily a Smash fan, I think 2026. That might be too soon, and I don't want to be disappointed at the end of 26, but as far as my story goes, I'm done with Ultimate. That video is coming out in 2026 at the beginning of 2026. So maybe throughout that year. I think it'll just... I guess what I'm picturing in my head is a perfect timeline where I release that video at the end of March, and then there's a March Direct where they show off the new Smash Bros, and they're like happens like days apart. They perfectly lead into one another, and then I just become a Smash YouTuber for all time and for all future. I mean, honestly, if it's just me talking, and I'm just shooting the shit right now on the Switch 2 Ultra podcast, I do have strict schedules. I do have a strict work regimen and week, and getting videos out by the end of each month. However, I think I want to go off of more of a casual design where I release videos when they're done, because the projects I want to work on that are upcoming are actually very... massive is maybe not the word. They're beckoning. They're intimidating. And when it comes to an intimidating video, I want as much time to work on it as possible. So I'm going to see what I can do. I think I'm going to try and make either... I'm going to work on the big ones in the background and then try and at least get like a smaller one out each month, you know? I'll see what I can do. But these are just personal plans. What I'm excited for moving forward just in general is that Mako Mermaids video now gets to go up on YouTube. Hopefully, I think if I should do the finishing touches and just watch over it and get the timestamps, it should be up tomorrow. So all the YouTube heads that are watching this, not on my YouTube channel, but on the BH Ultra Turbo YouTube channel and also twitch.tv/BH Ultra Live, you might be able to watch that video on YouTube. Twitch chat says, rushed might not be best term, but Brawl was revealed before it even existed, so they have a history of pushing them out sooner rather than later. This gen, they might be able to get more... to be more laid back, since Ultimate has backwards compatibility. I think what I'm worried about is that they're going to view Ultimate as the Switch family game, right? Oh, if you have a Switch 2, you can play Smash Bros. It's Smash Ultimate. Or even worse, we get a Smash Ultimate Switch 2 edition, and they announce characters for Smash Ultimate. I love Smash Ultimate, I really do. And if you asked me even like a year ago, maybe 2 years ago, I would have said, oh, I hope they keep building on top of Ultimate. But at this point, I think all the Nintendo characters have changed so much, both in design and characteristics, that I want to see something new. I just miss Smash Bros. In general. That's going to be the new thing. Dude, if 2026... Okay, actually now I'm dreading it, because if GTA 6 and Smash Bros. Come out... Oh, man. Maybe the 7 the Direct is referring to is that GTA 7 is going to be teased in the Direct, because we already have GTA 6, but now time to announce the next one. What's next? 6? 7? So that's really it. I really ran through those when I'm just talking to myself. I do want to keep... Oh, you can see this, huh? Well, All right, if I cover the screen, there's a Birdly image. Well, I can't switch back to here because this is gonna, yeah. Well, I guess that's not too bad. That's the crack beta design. If I keep refreshing trending, I'm gonna be upset if they announce a direct like after I go off the air, you know? But what if? What I'm getting at in this episode of Switch to Ultra that is overrun with technical difficulties is either we're gonna tune back in here next week. Is Latino still trending? I can check. No, now Whoopi and Nickelodeon are trending. Why is Whoopi trending? I guess people are talking about Whoopi Goldberg says Florida lawmakers are playing Russian roulette with the lives of children amid removal of vaccine mandates. Oh, that's nice. What was I getting at? Sorry, right, the outro, the whole purpose of that. Oh, thank God. I thought they were in trouble. Either we're going to tune back in next week. Actually, next week's pod, well, I want to stream something special on Monday because there's something very special to celebrate on September 15th, a very special birthday, so to speak. So I was originally going to push Switch to Ultra back to a Super Tuesday. But if there is a direct, maybe we do one like...
Oh, finally.
Hello?
Hello.
Dude,
that was a nightmare.
Wait, are we back? Are we so back?
I was just
about to wrap everything up. I just covered everything. Well, I could just go over the same things again.
Yeah, just give me the gist.
There was a... Hold on, let me make sure. Let me get my face back in here. Let's see if I can. Yeah, Discord was down for the least opportune time. All I went over is obviously discussing. Well, let me just ask you. We'll do yes or no to begin with. Did you see all the posts about Malamar?
Yeah, I didn't know what that was about.
Well, it came out on a Thursday, and the last 2 Thursdays they've shown off Mega Halucha and Mega Victory Bell. And this time they didn't show off Mega Malamar, but they did show a bunch of people being brainwashed by Malamar. And I thought like throughout the day it was going to lead up to that reveal, but then we didn't see it. And now it's been multiple days since that happened and we still haven't seen it. Now, if you remember from the multiple megas we went over, one of my mock-up designs, one of the leaked megas from the leaked mega list was Malamar. So I'm like, okay, we're going to see the new Mega Malamar. So either this is just a weird... What's the term I'm looking for? In idiosyncrasy? Maybe, that like falls out of line, and this is just a teaser for the game, or it's hidden in the background somewhere. Or this could be breaking the streak, and we're not going to get a new Mega revealed every Thursday. Because last week we said, we thought that every Thursday... I can read the YouTube chat, you just haven't said anything yet. Do you think we're still on track to get a new Mega every Thursday?
I mean, maybe if it's not every Thursday, I would guess that if it's they're gonna show something related to Pokemon ZA, Legend ZA every single Thursday. I mean, because they still posted this Malamar video.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they're kind of stretching this one out. Unless they're planning to do something extra big with Mega Malamar, because I'm pretty sure Mega Malamar is like kind of locked in for the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's on the list we looked at, but I was wondering, it's a matter of, do you think they're gearing up for the announcement of Mega Malamar, or do you think this is the teaser and we won't see Mega Malamar until the game comes out?
I think they're gonna show it off. If I had to guess, mostly because I don't think they'd want to. I don't think they'd go this far. Do a marketing campaign this big without kind of having some payoff sooner rather than later. I mean, it's the new like banner on the Pokemon YouTube page, the profile picture.
And they have multiple. They have multiple uploads. This one is a compilation, or this is a clip from the X and Y series. That's Officer Jenny gets brainwashed by Malamar ? And then right after it, Ash Greninja versus Mega Sceptile. So it's got to be something.
Yeah, I think they're playing towards something, and I imagine. I mean, if I had to guess, I would place the most stake in something happening this Thursday. I could be wrong.
This upcoming Thursday.
But yeah, this upcoming Thursday.
Okay.
But you know.
Yeah, what if we do get full Nintendo Direct on Thursday, and that's when they show off Mega Malamar, and they were just gearing up for it?
That'd be kind of fun.
Or a totally different Mega.
I don't know if I believe that, but it'd be kind of fun.
What would you say is your percentage on there being a Direct between episodes of Switch 2 Ultra?
50.
Okay, that's honestly a pretty safe bet.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it seems that Nintendo, isn't. You know, a lot of things have been kind of moved out of their normal places this year, so I wouldn't want. I could see it not happening this week, but I think it's pretty much just as likely. You know, based on I guess just my perception, my hunch.
Yeah.
That there's going to be something happening this week as it is some other point in the month, and and then so maybe a little bit less than 50. I highly doubt there won't be a Direct this month.
Yeah.
So,
but honestly,
I'm assuming it's going to be this week. But
honestly, as far as the slate of games go, if there is a new Direct, I kind of hope, or maybe not hope, but I wouldn't be opposed to every game they announce being a 2026 release, because everyone's been, I feel like forever since the first Direct, people have been bobbing their heads about what the big holiday game is going to be. But for me, I mean, I really like Bonanza. I'm not finished with it. I'm probably going to be playing ZA a lot. Maybe I just go through games a lot slower. And I'm really excited for Kirby Air Riders. That I can understand why people would want a proper release date for Metroid Prime, obviously.
Yeah.
But if everything else, like a new game, if they're going to announce new games, like, oh, there's a new Mario or whatever, if all of those release dates are 2026, I wouldn't be that upset. Because honestly, I'm fine with the slate of games we have throughout the rest of the year.
We could work with it.
Yeah. I mean, now we're in September, so we have a game coming out every month, like, leading into the next year anyway. More or less. If we're believing that, like, Hyrule Warriors is coming out in December. That gives me vibes of a January game. You know how they do January games sometimes? It does feel like one.
This is the kind of shit they're posting in January.
Right. It's the same thing in movie theaters. You gotta put garbage in there somewhere. Or there's been we were going over stuff that wasn't that important, like the Street Fighter movie cast and speculation on potential Direct and Riptide 2025. I was getting FOMO even though I never go to... Sorry, there's a Facebook link here. I'm clicking on it immediately. It's been confirmed that this is from Cerebi. Cerebi.net on Facebook.com. It has been confirmed that a special trailer celebrating Malamar for Pokemon Legends ZA will be available Wednesday, September 10th at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's all I care. Okay. This follows on the teases about Malamar. Okay, so this is Wednesday. So basically right before Thursday. And I believe Mario's actual anniversary, like the release date of the original Super Mario Bros.
The
13th. Is the 13th, yes, 40 years on. I guess we'll have to see where that falls, where the chips lie then.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the big reasons I think that there's going to be a Direct this week specifically.
Mm-hmm. I've heard a lot of Friday, but I don't think it's ever been on a Friday.
I don't think they do it on a Friday, but I'd say, like, if it happens in the next 3 days, they'll be like, oh, the anniversary is coming up, so we're going to do something.
Yeah.
You know? It seems like a thing that they would do, but, you know, who knows?
Directs are not very, but, like, sort of last minute. Like, they always announce it the day before, like, oh, we're doing a Direct tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. What?
Aside from... I guess this year where... Well, this is just because stuff...
The way you said that, I thought you were, like, checking fucking Twitter, and they just posted an announcement. I was like, what?
No. That's what they do, is they're like, oh, there's a Direct tomorrow, okay, bye. Except for this year where they announced the April Direct preemptively, but I think that's just because, you know, the Switch 2 was leaking, and they're like, okay, we got to get ahead of this. We have to officially show this off somehow.
Yeah.
It's been a mess this year. But yeah, as far as...
Last year's September Direct was on the 14th.
Okay.
Right now, I'm actually looking at a lot of the announcements, seeing what time they normally make them. And there actually isn't that much of a pattern, all things considered. I mean, they usually schedule it for a certain hour of the day.
Mm-hmm. They're always early.
So it's like, oh, okay. Like, yeah, usually at like 10 a.m. Which for some reason I feel like they used to do it like in the afternoons, but I might just be misremembering. I might just be full of shit.
You may have just been a child.
Yeah, I might just be like an idiot. But
no, that's not what I meant. I mean, you get up bright and early as a kid. And you're like, oh, I'm ready to start the day.
No, but I feel like I know, like, I remember the Nintendo Switch 2, not the Switch 1 when they first showed off. Oh, the NX is tomorrow. I think they posted that shit at like 8 p.m. The like stupid picture of Mario looking outside of a curtain.
I don't remember. Oh, I do remember that. Yeah, because that was the only information we had. The only other thing we covered is spotting more. They showed off Forsaken 64 for Nintendo Switch Online, and that was one of the blurry box arts that we spotted in the background of that one CRT image, in that one CRT trailer. And there's also a new... I feel like what's understated about Mario's anniversaries is when people say, like, oh, there's nothing. That, like, I have been writing about 2020 for the new Smash video, for the last one in that series, and, being in 2025 at the same time. So both of those years when people are like, oh, there's got to be a big major game, most of the stuff was like a bunch of toys for children. And I think we have gotten a lot of like weird Mario toy releases this year. Anyway, there's a baseball diamond with a bunch of Mario characters, and it leaked a new Donkey Kong render. And then we got into more speculation about why they would make a toy of a Mario baseball diamond, specifically. Like, could we get more Mario Baseball? That's the last major Nintendo or Mario sports game we haven't gotten on the Switch family of systems.
Yeah.
I think we've asked this before, and it's always like something like Star Fox or F-Zero, but is there any Nintendo series that has been a regular occurrence on Nintendo consoles that we haven't got in the Switch family, I suppose, that you would still really like?
In the Switch family specifically?
Because I just view the Switch 2 as a continuation. I don't think we're starting from scratch by being like, okay, there's one Mario Kart and one Donkey Kong. I think we got to count all the Switch 1 games as well, at least for me. Because a lot of them have Switch 2 versions anyway.
There are not that many franchises left that have really proven the staying power.
Except for pinball.
Like, I'm trying to think at least of like core Nintendo franchises. I mean, there is Star Fox, F-Zero, but F-Zero has been dead in the water for a long time. I mean, frankly, I think they're just done with it,
I think F-Zero 99 was a nice little... I think they were maybe surprised at how well it did. I don't think they're going to make like a fully fledged 3D. I think that's the issue with Nintendo, is they don't do half measures. Like, they don't make thrown together $20 games. Everything has to be like a major, now $70 release. And I think that's why we haven't gotten a Star Fox or a F-Zero. It's because they're unwilling to make one that's just kind of okay, that's cheap. Not cheap. Cheap isn't the word, but like, there are some... I don't think a major company can make an indie game, right? Because there was... I think, was it Prince of Persia recently? It was like, oh, we're going to make a new Prince of Persia, and it's going to be indie. It's like, well, no, you're Ubisoft. No, it's not. You can call it indie, but that's not what it is.
Yeah.
That I think they could benefit from making a small game with a small team with a small amount of money. But they won't.
I mean, I guess like a Sonic Mania style approach where they hire people that don't usually hire and kind of just leave them to their own devices. But I think because you're going to have industry overhead, it really can't be indie, because even if they hire like a small company to make the new Prince of Persia game, they're still going to have, suits kind of looking over and making sure it fits within the creative principles of the Prince of Persia franchise.
Well, I think what they were saying, the idea is that they're like, oh, we're going to make it with a smaller team with a smaller budget. It's like, that's a smaller game. It's still not indie. That's not indie. The word indie means independent. You can't just use that word. What were you going to say?
I mean, one thing that I really wish we would get another one of is Kid Icarus. I think Uprising it's a fantastic game. I would love them to continue it, but I'm not really. I think our best chance of Uprising getting a follow-up is it's going to be like a Kirby Air Rider situation, where the second the sequel comes out 22 years later or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I'm not really excited. I'm not really.
Well, that's why I think the
hopeful.
prospect of these series is kind of exciting due to the Switch effect. I mean, there are multiple series that have sold it's been their biggest game on the Switch, but also for better or for worse, right? It depends on if you ask an Illumination fan or a Paper Mario fan about how protective Miyamoto is of Mario, you know? And for better or for worse, Nintendo is more interested in their extended IP now because they have an entertainment business where they're making movies or TV shows, and now they have a theme park of all their characters and IP. And I believe that's probably why they had the restoration project for Donkey Kong, because they're like, oh, this is one of our important characters. We should like do something. I do think it's probably more likely that we might get like a major Yoshi or Luigi game before we get a Star Fox or an F-Zero. But if they do care about their IP like that.
Bets. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I don't know for sure about Yoshi, but well, I just think to myself, I think people generally have an easier time trying a game out with a character they already know than, I don't know, trying out something completely like just new. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I certainly know that for myself. I mean, there's been a lot of shows that or things that I've just kind of what's the word? Procrastinated on trying out because I don't know, or I don't really know it. I might not like it. I kind of just I don't know. I just don't want to find out, I suppose, sometimes. So all that's to say is that, you know, as a kid, I was a lot more receptive to trying out a Yoshi game than I was, I don't know, Metroid, before I'd ever played Metroid before. Because I'd seen Yoshi in the Mario game. It felt like a Mario game, you know?
Yes.
So I remember being surprised in Smash Bros. Where they considered Yoshi games not Mario games, you know?
That's still so weird to me.
Yeah, I mean, I guess because like the original first Yoshi game was Super Mario World 2.
Mm-hmm.
Then I guess you just had a lot of games with only Yoshi and not Mario, so it's something different.
It's weird that they characterize like, oh, Wario's in the Wario category and Yoshi's in the Yoshi category, but they're the only characters in those categories. Like, I wouldn't say that like Ashley or Poochie deserve to be in Smash Bros, but I would like them to add characters to those categories.
Yeah. And then also, I've heard people argue they should make Luigi in his own franchise.
I was just about to say that. Like, I wonder if they added EGAD to Smash, would he be in his own Luigi category, or would he be a Mario character?
Yeah, they probably make it into a Luigi category.
Yeah.
But even then,
and then there's only 7 Mario characters, so we could add more.
Yeah, and that's that whole other thing.
Removing the goalpost.
Talking about, there's too many Mario characters, and like, what are you talking about? But then you also they kind of forget that Yoshi and Donkey Kong are still kind of Mario characters. I mean, it's debatable, but I don't know. It's kind of funny.
Well, Peach could be her own Peach category now because Peach has a game. She has 2 games.
Yeah. Super Princess Peach and why am I blanking on Showtime?
Princess Peach's Showtime. I think those are the only 2. Game. Squid Game? I don't think she was in that. Not to my knowledge. I haven't seen the show. I'm not caught up yet. But that's the extent of... I mean, we were discussing what a major Mario release could be. Maybe it is just a Mario Baseball. Maybe it's a 3D Mario. I mean, I would say...
Mario 2D All-Stars.
Yeah, I did hear a lot about that. But honestly, like, if... My only reservation, not that I'd be disappointed, because again, I don't think we need any more major releases this year. Like, it's sort of a lackluster launch, but I feel like consoles always have a lackluster launch. The second year is always as heavy hitters. I'd much rather front load and back. I'd just load up 2026 with fantastic games than like right at the end be like, oh, there's a Switch game coming out December. Like, that doesn't interest me as much as having like a big game coming out in February or March. I know it doesn't make that much of a difference, but to me it does.
I get it.
That I think it's possible that a Mario game that coming out this year could be something small, like a spin-off game. But if that was the case, I would argue that if you're celebrating Mario's anniversary, that Mario Kart would be a bigger celebration than like Mario Baseball. So if they did have like, oh, we have the big Mario game coming out this year, I think they would have marketed Mario Kart World as that big Mario game. Because there's no point in having a smaller Mario game be the anniversary game. Or it's something we've never seen before, and something we know nothing about. It's an untapped market. It's something like Mario 35. What people don't seem to bring up either is that, and it was probably accidentally, maybe it wasn't, 2020 was Mario's previous anniversary, and they announced 3D All-Stars and released that in September of 2020. They announced it September and released it September, so that's important to think about.
Yeah.
They they also then announced 3D World and Bowser's Fury in that Mario Direct that was coming out the year after. But an important note that goes kind of undercited about that is that Paper Mario: The Origami King also came out that year. Like, that's another technically major Mario game. And we haven't had a new Paper Mario since the Origami King. We've had a Thousand Year Door remake, but that's not going to take as much man-hours, as many. And also, they must have been... I'm lumping all the RPGs together, and they're probably not all the same team. But the Thousand Year Door remake came out a year after, if not 6 months after the Mario RPG remake. And then within the same year, we got a new Mario and Luigi game.
Yeah, that didn't feel real.
It was weird. It was a weird period of time. We can get Super Mario RPG 2. Finally, after all these years. It doesn't feel right to like end the pod to be like, oh, let's go over what we think is going to be in the director. Let's do another, again, circling back to the bingo card. It could very well that there just is a pod, or there is a direct. I'll say this. I don't know what your schedule is like, but I was already going to suggest, before there was speculation about a direct, to do next week's episode on Super Tuesday so that I could do a special stream for something on Monday that I've been planning for a while. However,
I think that's an issue for me.
Well, I was going to say, however, if the direct is somehow like the weekend, which it never has been, it's always been like an earlier day. But if it is something like Friday, Saturday, would you be opposed to doing a pod like right after the direct? Like maybe a day after? Say it's like a Saturday or a Sunday.
Potentially.
We would have to see. You'd certainly have to move stuff around with how I do stuff in the Discord server, but it might be worth doing. At least like right after, because the direct only comes around every now and then. We're only getting 2 this year. But that's the extent of everything we had to cover here today. Again, it feels kind of slow. Every time I go into these weeks, I'm like, oh, there's nothing to talk about. And then I go through my bookmarks, and I'm like, oh, right, there's all these different topics of different and varying interest. But I'll say this, if there isn't a direct this month, as far as game releases go, or a new direct until next year, as far as game releases go, I think I'm okay. I think I'll be able to fully complete Bonanza, because I'm not. I know you can. Both the rest of the Chuckle Fucks, both Dan and Wyatt, when I said like, oh, I'm 100%ing the game as I go through, they're like, oh, well, you might have to. I think there might be something after, but I'm not leaving.
Okay, never mind.
I have what I've been doing on stream is doing a whole layer and then moving on to the next one. But I've elected that I think I have like 6 more layers and then 6 more Thursdays until Legends ZA comes out. So my personal goal or personal limit is that I said like, okay, I'm going to do as much as I can in the layer, and if the end of the stream comes and I don't have everything in the layer, I have to move to the next one no matter what. So that way I'll at least beat the base game before Legends ZA comes out, and then I can spend Thursday playing Legends ZA, and that will then lead me into Kirby Air Riders, and I don't know how long I'm going to play that, but I want to get like people together to play that. I suppose we'll see. But as far as releases go, I think one major release a month is fine, but as far as the show goes, if there isn't anything major announced, then we may not have anything to talk about for like 5 weeks after this, but we'll find something to do.
Yeah.
If we really need gimmick episodes, we should host episodes like Inside Games. In the world of Mario Kart.
We do a Mario Kart world.
Yeah, I have wanted to do that.
Rome episode.
Right. Well, that's everything I had here today. Is there anything you saw this week that's of interest, or anything going on in the world of Switchy right now?
Oh man, I caught up with Dexter.
Like all of it.
I don't know if you guys know. Yeah, like all of it, because there were 2 seasons that came out this year, and I'd kind of flaked on watching them. But it's funny because, it's the kind of show that, historically every single time it's kind of come to an end, everyone's hated it. But the most recent season is like on an unprecedented level of critical acclaim, at least from what I've seen. So that kind of piqued my interest, so I kind of caught up,
So when you say two new seasons this year, was it one show that had 2 new seasons, or is it 2 spin-off shows that each had a new season?
2 spin-offs that each had a season.
Okay, because I did hear about that.
There was the season that takes place 15 years before the original show.
Mm-hmm.
And then the newest season, which takes place a few weeks after the last reboot, because there was one reboot in 2021, and now there's another reboot. It's it's hectic. I actually don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think about that scene from Deadpool and Wolverine, where Deadpool tells Wolverine until you're 90, and I think that's the plan with Dexter.
I think it is really funny when there's, I don't want to call these shows mundane, but when it's not like some big multiverse or like some scoping world, but it still is a universe. Like before I watched Better Call Saul, whenever I heard about the prospect of it, I'm like, oh, that's silly. There's a spin-off about one of the characters from the world of Breaking Bad. Like whenever I hear that, like, oh, from the world of Breaking Bad, from the world of Dexter, every time there's like, at least Walking Dead, which is a worse show than both of those shows, at least that has like a thing that's affecting the whole world. I think it's funny to have a show like that, not to call those shows mundane, but where like the world building is, it's just like America. Like it's just like everything is as it is. I'm not saying these are bad things or even bad ideas. I just think treating those like expanded universes are really funny.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I mean the show itself is still centered on the main character.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess sometimes, I can understand why they make a spin-off off of a popular character.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been talk about doing spin-offs about certain kind of antagonists in Dexter. I don't think they've ever really gone through it. I don't think that would really work. But with all that being said, I think that I kind of made the joke with another YouTuber friend of the show, Slipmaker, because he's kind of gotten a lot of
new Barry video, by the way,
talking about this show. Huh? Yeah. He was recommending the show to me. I might check that show out.
You haven't seen Barry? Oh, dude, I love Barry.
Okay,
I'm gonna make my server watch it after we finish Succession, because I think like ever since I was a kid, it's not just like kids media, it's all TV shows, because cable isn't as big of a thing anymore. There haven't been like blocks of television where it's like, oh, 4 new episodes back to back, like that era where every week it was a new Office, new Parks and Rec, new 30 Rock, all the same time. But in 2023, they had like HBO Sundays where there was a new Barry followed up by a new Succession every Sunday. And I was eating good. And then the same day, they both aired their finales, like in 2023. And I was devastated. I think they both had 4 seasons. And yeah, their finales aired back to back. It was horrifying.
Wow.
Yeah. But that happened so... I think Adult Swim's the only one that does it anymore, where they premiere their shows on Sunday. And I think the closest I've gotten is, I think... earlier this year or maybe last year, where there were like new episodes of YOLO, Smiling Friends, and Oh My God Yes, I think is what it was called, where there was like, they had 3 new shows back to back. And I don't know any other network, I mean, I don't watch any other networks, but any other streaming service that has like big days where all their new episodes come out. So it was a cool thing to be a part of.
It reminds me, and this is such a tell that I don't really watch TV, and I've never watched much TV, but one thing I remember specifically is I think Good Luck Charlie and Victorious starting on the exact same day.
I think that did happen.
Being so excited for that.
Yeah.
And, like, they were kind of, at least for a while, like there was new episodes every single week, and that was kind of lit.
Mm-hmm. I think there were only a handful, because like I was always more of a Cartoon Network kid, but most of the channels aired stuff on different days anyway, that there was never a point where I was like, okay, there's a commercial, I gotta switch over to this other thing. Other than maybe when I got into wrestling, professional wrestling, it would, I believe, back when it was a 2-hour show, Monday Night Raw, which aired every Monday night, would air from 9 p.m., or maybe 10 p.m. to 12 or 9 p.m. to 11. And Monday night around that time is also when Cartoon Network was showing new shows or new episodes of their shows. So for a while, I would watch New Adventure Time, new regular show, new Mad, new Gumball sometimes, and then switch over to wrestling. And then they got to a period where either they added a third hour to Monday Night Raw and it extended backwards, or Cartoon Network just went later or something, where there were cartoons I wanted to watch, but the second it went to commercial, I switched over to USA Network because I wanted to see what was going on wrestling. That was the only time in my life, I think, where I'm like, oh, I have to quickly switch back. I know
some people. I know my mom kind of would watch TV like that, where she, there's a commercial, so she just kind of catches a few minutes of another channel or whatever.
Counter programming. Well, now I got two TVs on top of each other.
I mean, that's if I need to do for that. Reruns. Like, I mean, she's watched probably every Seinfeld and every Malcolm in the Middle or whatever. So
yeah, just
if she's watching something else and like it goes to commercials, like, okay, let me just catch a few minutes of this show I've already seen. But like, if you hadn't seen the show, it'd probably be kind of annoying to do that.
Yeah, there's sort of a war on brain rot when it comes to, people are just mindlessly scrolling all the time. But that's kind of what channel surfing was. Like, sometimes you would just sit in front of a TV and just roll through channels to see what was going on. And you wouldn't even land on anything.
It's a TV, it gives so much and it asks so little. I was actually watching The Simpsons because I've been trying to get into, like the golden era stuff.
Yes.
And there was, it's interesting. Especially, this is season 3 I'm watching. They make a lot of references to the idea of TV kind of rotting kids' brains. Kids don't go outside; they just want to sit in front of the TV all day. And I mean, I don't think this is really that extreme of an observation. I mean, there's an obvious parallel with phones.
Yes.
Just screens in general. I mean, it's just. I think what people do in their free time has changed a lot, and that's a whole sociological thing that can be discussed. But I don't know. I mean, to be fair, if I didn't grow up with a TV in my house, and then I become a parent and I see my kids watching a TV, I'd probably have a hard time getting used to it.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. That how fast things. I mean, how long people are alive for, and how much stuff can change in even like 50, 40 years, even like 30 years. We couldn't have expected. I remember as a kid being in the backseat of the car and I was missing an episode of something, and I'm like, oh, I hope in the future TVs are portable. Everyone could put a TV in their pocket. And that's kind of what we have, but I couldn't have pictured what it would literally be like. Now the programming has changed when it comes to that. And I think that we've talked about this before, like that one TikTok of that teacher being like, oh, kids don't want to ask questions anymore because they're afraid of being wrong. It's like, I don't know if that's like a new thing. I think there are some brain rot and attention problems. I weep a little bit when I see some parent just place an iPad in front of their kid. But yeah, I think kids are going to be all right for the most part, because I think the idea that once you're indoctrinated, it's like while you're young, it's impossible to break out of it. I don't think that's true. Like I think if you're. And I think we talked about this when it came to like the PragerU broadcast as well, where they're trying to teach children. It's like, oh, Christopher Columbus was cool, actually. I don't want to sound like I'm defending that at all, because I'm not. But I think a kid learning that as a child doesn't mean that they're going to believe it still when they're an adult. When you grow up, you start to learn that all that. That's basically what they taught me as a kid. And I still understand that it's bullshit. I think we're not giving enough credit to newer generations. And I saw another thing of somebody asking like, oh, why are so many younger Gen Z, they said younger Gen Z people, why are they like leaning conservative? And younger Gen Z people just means teenagers, like children. So I don't want to say that it's not an issue, but I have the same view I always do of conservatism, is that you'll grow out of it, I don't want to say like, oh, everyone had an edgy phase. We were all awful at some point, because that's not really fair. But I'm not worried as much. I think it's okay to be worried. What I was getting at ultimately is like, if we don't have kids, there's really no way of knowing, because we could say like, oh, kids don't play outside anymore. But how the fuck would we know? We're not going around to playgrounds to go check. I don't think we would be allowed to do that.
I'm gonna go to some playground, scope it out, see what's going on with kids these days.
The only thing I could say is I've lived here in this neighborhood for a couple of years, and
I've looked in all of these. I've looked through all these windows and seen kids on their phones.
No, every year I get a bowl of candy for Halloween, and there's never trick or treaters. But I think that's less of a generational thing and more of the fact that like we're by a busy street, and it's always blocked.
Busy street.
Yeah, I mean, you've seen it. There's always trucks parked right there, so it's like you have to look both ways. It's hard to. I wouldn't be surprised.
There aren't many families living at your townhouse complex.
No, there definitely are. Like I see families a lot there. Yeah, because whenever I go on walks, there's always like chalk drawings on the sidewalk, unless the parents are doing that. But I think it's just I don't. When you say dangerous neighborhood, it means like, oh, there's crime there. No, it's literally a dangerous neighborhood in the fact that like I would if I wanted my kids to go outside, I would be watching them the whole time because that street is very busy. But yeah, like we can't know what it's like if.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was talking to my aunt's boyfriend, and this is a few months ago, and he was telling me that when he was a kid, during summer break, he would just leave the house, and he wouldn't show back up until like 10 hours later. And he'd go to his friend's house, and his mom would like make lunch for all of them. And I was hearing that, and it was insane to me because I thought that was just like some bullshit they made up in TV shows. This premise of a kid like just leaving the house and being gone all day.
Yeah,
like that's just not a thing that happens anymore.
I mean, I knew people in my neighborhood, and I would walk to their house and hang out there. But whenever I did, like their parents would always call my mom and be like, "Hey, he's here, don't worry." But I wouldn't. I had new people in my neighborhood, and as a kid, I would walk to their houses. But every time I did, their parents would call my mom and be like, "Hey, he's here, just so you know." But I wouldn't just kind of go out somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is me kind of summarizing, anecdotes that were traded.
Yeah.
But
well, I imagine that probably did happen.
That people brought up is, I mean, there was not necessarily, I don't want to say a hysteria. I mean, there probably were a few instances. There were kids that got kidnapped and stuff like that. I think nowadays the premise of just letting your kid leave the house and not knowing where they are for 10 hours. Like if you tell someone that as a parent nowadays, they're going to be like, "Oh, you're like a bad person."
And now every suburban mom is really into true crime. So they're like, "Oh, if you can't leave them alone at the grocery store because if there's a bag wrapped around your door handle, it means you're going to be trafficked."
Oh yeah, I mean, some people genuinely, and I say this with love, I think some people are genuinely suffer from extreme paranoia.
Yeah. Well, it's also
where,
like, I don't want to say that stranger danger is wrong because you should be aware of your surroundings and you should be like, not on edge, but yeah, you should be vigilant when it comes to dealing with strangers. But yeah, a little bit of a serious dip here that like most acts of like child sexual assault or trafficking are not a stranger pulling up in a van and with a big net and picking up a child. It's more often than not someone the kid or person knows. Most trafficking cases are the trafficker and the traffickee are in a relationship. Like the person being trafficked believed they were dating the trafficker. And same thing when it comes to child sexual assault, is it's not some ice cream man like pulling up and being like, "Hey, I got something in the van." It's a family friend or a relative, which is sad, but it's true. And I don't want to say that like stuff like, again, it's hard to discuss this without sounding like you're defending it or you're like pro pedos or whatever, but a show like Dateline kind of does more damage than it helps.
It's hard to discuss this without someone accusing you of acting like a family member abusing a child is like not as bad. It's still terrible.
Yeah,
it's more so.
I'm just saying it's more common.
I think the perceived randomness of that kind of crime is often what makes it so scary. You're looking over the shoulder and stuff like that. And although as I said, as you said, it's valuable to be vigilant, be aware. It's more likely than not, if you're gonna be abused and treated like shit, it's gonna be by someone you know.
Yes.
Which to me, there was like a little bit of comfort in that. When I was a kid, kind of like hearing that because, I don't know. I mean, there are a lot of things that I think my mom or other people would tell me as a kid. I remember they told me that, like for example, if there was like a package open of candy at the store, like there was probably poison in it. And that's probably not what happened. Probably someone like a kid or a teenager like ripped it open.
Dude, like when me and my sisters, my older and my younger sister, were adults. We're all adults now. And I was on my phone when she was filling up her tank of gas. Like we were at the gas station. I got a call or something, or I was calling someone. And she said something that our mom always told us that I didn't know that she still believed. She's like, "Oh, don't take that call. It's like dangerous." And I remember our mom telling us that like, "Oh, if you fill up gas and you answer a phone at the gas station, that it could cause like an explosion. Like it will make your car explode or something like that." And I don't think that was ever true, but maybe it was when like cell phones were first a thing, when they were like huge bricks. But I didn't occur to me that like my sisters still believe that because our mom told us that when we were young, and it's like, yeah, sure, that makes sense. But I thought about it like as an adult for like a minute, and then like, dude, that would happen way more often. Like cars would. We would hear about gas stations exploding like every week if that was true.
Dude, that's the thing. I remember like the first time I ever had to get gas on my own, I was worried about potentially, spilling a little bit and causing a fire, or like potentially exploding my car and dying or something.
Yeah. What if there's a needle hidden in the gas pump?
And then I thought to myself, like, one day, I'm not the smartest person on earth, but I'm smarter than a lot of other people. And if like, I imagine like people in my life who are stupider than I am, and I thought to myself, well, they've never died of like a gas station explosion, and I haven't heard of that happening. So if it's gonna happen, it's more likely gonna happen to them than me. So I think I'm gonna be fine.
Yeah, but that was a big one that I was like, wait a minute. But that's something like we were told as kids, and we just like never questioned until it became adult. It's like, wait a minute, hold on, that doesn't make any sense at all.
Dude, imagine a guy that literally just goes to stores, opens like bags of chocolate, and puts fucking razor blades in the chocolate.
Yeah, you're not even reaping the benefits of that. Like if you get off on hurting people, you don't even see them get hurt. You're just leaving.
Yeah.
I think I'll end the pod with this, that one of my first memories as a very young, I think I may have been a baby, maybe, is waking up. I was in my groggy state, and I was a little baby. I don't think I could like genuinely walk, or maybe I was just learning to walk. And I was opening my eyes groggily, and I was in a hotel room, and I could hear a fire alarm. And my aunt rushed into the room. I remember being woken up by her, picking me up to get me out of this room. And even as like a kid, I don't know how young I was, but I understood what a fire alarm was and what that meant. And I was like, oh, okay, we're evacuating the hotel right now. Everyone's leaving. But I remember being groggy and being draped over my aunt's shoulder, looking around as we're rushing down the stairs and not seeing anyone else leave. And I'm like, this is weird. Does nobody else hear the alarm? Is it just me? Is it a false alarm? Is it a drill? I don't know what's going on. I didn't see anyone else in that hotel. And then we made it outside. And I turned and I saw the entire hotel all standing there, like in the parking lot, including my mom and sisters and grandparents. Which means that what must have happened is that they heard the fire alarm, evacuated the hotel, and then my aunt was like, oh, wait, we left Andrew in there. And then she went back in the hotel to go get me. So the safety of it all never really bothered me. I think I was always at risk of something. I was kind of on my own for a long period of time. But also, I was the kind of kid that would run away on purpose for attention. Like, I would, quote-unquote, get lost in stores, and I would just hide in the coat rack.
I wouldn't hide. I would just walk away. I think there was a way of me kind of rebelling from my parents, because I hated being, just told to just, like, stand around and, just follow them around all the time. So I would just kind of be like, oh, what's that? I kind of walk away and,
I severe middle child syndrome, so I just wanted attention a lot. And I thought, like, oh, if I like pretend to get lost, then my mom will freak out and like care and pay attention. But all it did was make my sister freak out, my older sister, and my mom was super laissez-faire about it.
This is a fucked up scenario.
Yeah.
But I kind of find it funny is the idea of like you could probably have like a good South Park bit about this, where a kid's like hiding from his parents to get attention, but then he realizes his parents have are really worried they get police involved. So he like tries like this. You can see Cartman doing this, and he like bribes a guy to pretend to be like a pedophile. It's like, hey, can you pretend you're trying to like kidnap me or something?
I feel like this exactly happened when he kidnapped Butters. I could be wrong. That's really what I wanted to bring up earlier, by the way, is we were saying like, oh, we can't ever really know what it's like in the modern age to be a kid because we don't have kids. And I was watching the new South Park last night in the server, and it's all about Labubu's and TikTok. And I remember...
Was that like a good episode? I kind of don't want to
Not really, but that's the thing. Like, you hear that, you're like, oh my god, they're so out of touch. They're trying to, like, grab whatever headlines there are. But then I was watching the episode, and they had, either Matt Stone or Trey Parker, I don't know. Their daughter plays a character in the show because their daughter is about the age of, like, the South Park kids. And I was watching that and realizing, like, oh... They probably do know more about, like, modern kids than we do because they genuinely have children. So I don't think that the whole Labubu thing is them being like, oh, what's popular right now? Let's put this in our show.
Nah.
I think they probably just, like, heard it from their kids. Like, their kids kept asking for one. And that made me respect the episode a little more. I still don't think it was good, but I'm like, I think it was less of an attention grab and more of, like, they probably are more in touch with modern children because they literally have modern children.
You know, it's funny. This is like low-key a flex. Ooh. I don't want to go into detail.
You got children all over town.
No. One of my friends, I think his dad does like a TTRPG thing. So, and I think Trey Parker has like played with him before. So my friend has met Trey Parker.
Whoa.
Yeah.
From basketball.
Yeah.
That rules.
But I've kind of avoided the new South Park stuff. I think there's just something. Not necessarily. I don't think it's like gotten worse. I mean, there probably have been some better seasons than others, but ever since like maybe 2019, I think there was just something kind of depressing about a TV show that's talking about politics as they're happening. It's like, dude, I don't want to think about.
Well, that's what I was thinking. Is the newest episode? You know, Trump was a big player. That I was wondering if they did announce that he died. Remember, like, was it on Thursday, maybe, where there was like, oh, there's a big White House announcement. We haven't heard from him in forever. And everyone was like, oh, dude, he's dead. Yeah. He's dead for sure. I wonder if they would have rewrote that episode about him, like if they would have changed the ending to him dying or if they would have just kept it the same. Because it would have been, well, I guess that episode, wait, did that episode come out Wednesday? I don't remember. It would have, I wouldn't put it past them. Hey, but this isn't the South Park podcast show. This is the Switch to Ultra podcast show. I know it's a little bit on the shorter side because we did have those technical difficulties, but I think we've covered everything we need to this week. And we'll see. We'll play it by ear. We'll see if there's any Nintendo announcements this week. If there isn't, then Super Tuesday, because I want to do something special for an anniversary on Monday. And if there is, then we'll play the chips where they lie. I have been your co-parent, BH Ultra.
And I have been your co-parent, Switchy.
I'm hoping to get the Mako Mermaids video up on YouTube by tomorrow, and then the September video will be a big... We'll see. You know, I don't think I have a teaser for that one, but that one and Halloween I'm working on concurrently, and you are still working on the Pocketail video. I think it's going to be a really big video, from what I've seen of your posts. It's
probably going to be like at least 4.5 hours.
Well, I just mean like big, like spectacle. Anyone can make a long video.
It's more heavily edited than even the All-Stars video.
Yeah.
Like by probably...
See, I think I would want to make something like that because I always have a deadline of a month. But I feel like if I gave myself a lot of time, I want to do something like that more and more.
Yeah, for sure.
Truly an inspiration to me. Well, I'm going to hang up on you, and we'll tune back in whenever the next episode is.
All right, see you, man.
Yeah, tell your kids I said hi. All right, let me play this Mario Slugger song.